Hello everybody, welcome to The Gamer Life. Today I will be discussing the Fable 3 Conundrum, a game that has always had a place in my heart, but irrespectively isn't the best Fable game out there according to Metacritic. Despite this, I am going to have an open mind in which I will be discussing the goods and the bads and what I think could improve. Therefore, I will be divulging the main story and some of the side quests. DLC I may do in another video, but we'll wait and see. Either way, this is going to be a long one, so sit back, relax, and enjoy the Fable 3 Conundrum. First off, let me point out a few things. This opening cutscene is the perfect explanation of what Fable is. If you've ever played the game and a friend wants a quick summary, just show them this clip. In a nutshell, across all the Fable games, the good ones, you feel like you're in a fairy tale. And that's what it's supposed to feel like. It's a fable, after all. However, this is only up until a certain point. Then, reality knocks on the door.
Find nothing to hope for.
This is very similar to Roald Dahl's writing. Within them you'll see happy and joyful scenes, and then all of a sudden,
oh fuck,
an almost sinister feeling kicks in, and this is what captivates the reader, and this is exactly the same for when you play Fable, at least for the first time. I am going to level with you here. This is my personal favourite intro in the entire series. It tells the overall concept of what world I'm about to enter, and I just love it. Now I get it. The idea of the chicken is to symbolise the importance of rebelling and bravery, which is a neat little metaphor. A bit silly, a bit stupid, but also endearing. Again, this is Fable we're talking about here.
True rebels fight against all odds. True rebels never give up. Yet they cannot triumph alone. The uprising has begun. But who will lead the revolution?
What an intro. Let's go. Let's do this. First things first, gotta choose a character. I think I'll go with Prince.
Of course, the prince.
Alright, so at the start you get woken up by a butler called Jasper. Now the voice actor of Jasper is none other than John Cleese, modern Arthur legend. After he wakes me and my dog up, I'm told to choose an outfit, then head out to find someone called Elise.
Will do. Bye, Jasper.
One thing that was useful during my first playthrough was the glowing trail. But since I've played this to death in the past, I'm going to turn it off, as I pretty much know where I'm headed. So I meet up with Elise.
Oh, brave knight, have you come to protect me?
Then you give her either a hug or a big wet kiss. I went for the latter. She then tells you she had a rumour that your brother, the king, had a worker executed for taking a small break, and there had been rumours about a strike in the city. She then wants you to speak to the castle staff, who have also heard this rumour, and clear things up, put things into perspective.
Staff in the castle are anxious. I told them you'd speak to them. Will you do that? I'm afraid of what might happen if someone doesn't calm things down.
If you think it will help.
I do. They may fear the king, but they still care for their prince.
Unlike in previous entries, Fable 3 allows you to hold an NPC's hand instead of the old
follow.
I like this, makes it a bit more romantic than to simply just say
Follow
to someone.
Training
So we get to the kitchen and oh my god! The black chicken has returned from the dead! Nice. Once we reach the staff, we get prompted with the first of many instances where the game will ask you to make a certain choice. 9 times out of 10 it will be either good or evil. I'm going with the good choices mainly for this playthrough because why not?
You have all been through some difficult times. And the king has been too preoccupied to treat you as he should. But I ask you all to ignore any wild rumors you hear. I promise to speak with my brother about improving conditions for both you and your families outside the castle. Thank you.
Once you've given your speech, Sir Walter Beck pays a visit. Sir Walter is a warrior that used to fight with your father or mother, i.e. whoever you played in Fable 2, whether it be a female or a male. The voice actor of Walter is none other than Bernard Hill, who many of you will know for his role as King Theoden in The Lord of the Rings. On your way to do some training with him, he confirms the rumours that Elise and the kitchen staff had heard, and foreshadows that this will have unprecedented consequences, and as the player you can kind of second guess what's going to happen. Alright, so this is where the game introduces the melee combat. It's alright. I mean, it's exactly the same as Fable 2, which I have no issue with, but since I've played the likes of Witcher 3 before coming back to this game, yeah, needless to say, it's nowhere near as intense or in-depth, but it is what it is. At the end of the day, it isn't terrible. After you break Walter's sword, Elise barges in and tells us there is a demonstration outside the castle. When you make your way over there, you begin to feel the tension growing.
They're right inside the castle grounds. I've never seen so many people out there.
Balls. I should have known this would happen. I don't think they realize what your brother is capable of.
So Walter tells you to wait around while he speaks to your brother and stops the unnecessary executions that may be going ahead.
But I should find him. Stay here. There's still something we need to talk about.
When he leaves, Elise and I follow and eavesdrop in the conversation. Turns out, Walter was right, and Logan is going to kill all the demonstrators by starting with...
Start with the ringleaders, and if necessary, continue with the crowd.
This is wrong. You can't do this.
Falcon! Punch! Never tell me what I can't do.
The voice actor of Logan is none other than Michael Fassbender. He's in many films such as X-Men, Inglourious Basterds, and Assassin's Creed.
We have to do something.
So I go in and try and talk some sense into him, and he's all like,
What are you doing here? The war room is no place for a child. Leave now. I'm here to...
Ouch! I just broke a sword in half earlier. I'm not exactly a child, am I?
Enough! How dare you turn against me? Perhaps you believe you should be the one making these decisions. You really wish to defend those traitors? Then so be it. Let us see how you do. Take my brother and his friend to the throne room. We shall settle this matter officially.
So we get taken to the throne room.
Going.
Leave her alone!
I'm alright, I'm alright.
Don't worry. Whatever happens, we'll get through this together.
Keep walking.
Here come the saviors of the people. Come closer, brother. Today you have disappointed me beyond measure. I have been betrayed by my own blood and a filthy spine.
We did nothing wrong.
Punishment must be apportioned where it belongs.
Punish me, then.
You are no longer a child, and it is time I stopped treating you as one.
Wait, what?
You wish to
What
save
about what you said
traitors
literally a
gathered
minute ago?
outside the war room is no place for a child. Leave now. Very well.
Anyway, Logan is
Your chance
mad
to save
and
them.
wants you to pay for your
Here stand
quote-unquote
leaders of the
betrayal,
violent mob.
and gives you a
I will
choice.
give you a choice.
You either kill the
Who will be
demonstrators
punished? These
or Elise.
strangers or this girl? The sentence will be death.
No, this can't be.
Although he is being a bit of a dick,
You
Logan
are
is
prince.
foreshadowing, or at least hinting, of what decisions he's had to make and the
power
sacrifices
over
he's
life
endured
and
in order to
death.
preserve
No, I
life,
won't do
which is
this.
kind of
If you
what he's
can't
trying to
choose,
teach you
I
here.
will.
Either way,
will
this came out of
all be
nowhere
executed.
and is a brilliant
Tell
start
me,
to the game.
What are you willing to sacrifice to do the right thing?
This is madness. We just can't.
Now, my first few playthroughs in the past, I always
can't
chose
let them all
Elise,
die.
not
Choose
because I
me.
disliked her, just because it felt like the less wrong thing to do in this type of
There's only
scenario.
one
But then I
decision you can
realised
make.
later on,
It
there is a
has to
more
be me.
in-depth outcome if you choose to keep her alive. So I'm going to make the demonstrators
Are you
get
listening to me?
executed. Yeah.
Please. We didn't mean anyone any harm. We just wanted to be heard.
It should be me. Don't do this. It should be me.
The girl lives. Kill the rest now.
Please.
I will never forgive you for this. Good. Then you will never forget it. Escort my brother to his chambers. Now.
My god, what an awesome first start to the game. it beats the idea of picking up gold coins from all the previous entries, and this is the first time you actually start as an adult. I've got to say, I'm enjoying it so far.
Any of us realized just how far he'd fallen into madness.
I have to do something. I can't just stay here.
As Jasper reassures me and my character's doing the whole cooling off pose, Walter walks in and says, right, we are leaving. We need to start a revolution. Wait, what? I get that this is the devs wanting to keep the pace consistent and keep the player focused, but I don't know, it just seems a bit abrupt for my liking. But hey ho, we move. As we leave, Walter takes us through the garden and we approach the old hero king's tomb.
It's time we paid our respects to Albion's last hero.
I never thought I'd enter this place again.
You should have known better.
Once we arrive, Walter activates what appears to be what the old king left behind, the Guild Seal. Now, the emphasis of the Guild Seal has never been more relevant or important until Fable 3. In previous entries, it was a symbol of being a hero, and also a communicator to constantly hear.
Your health is critical. Try to get your combat multiplier even higher. Hero, your will energy is low. Watch that.
In Fable 3, it is used to acquire upgrades. This is the first time the skill tree is not separated into different colours representing strength, skill, will, and general. Whereas in Fable 3, the player can constantly use their ranged weapon and still have enough seals to upgrade will or strength, for example. I get why the game devs did this, to allow players to play how they like and still have the option to upgrade something else if they desire, so I don't really mind it. However, I much prefer the original system where you had to actually use will in combat, for example, to upgrade it and etc. When I picked up the Guild Seal, it activates a portal that takes me to the Road to Rule and meet a woman named Teresa who tells you,
I guided your father in his greatest triumph.
she explains to you that this is the Road to Rule and you'll have to go through this in order to get to the castle and overtake the throne. In a nutshell, it's the new skill tree for the game. I don't mind this, I would just prefer to have a regular skill tree like the other games, but it is what it is. It's unique, I give it that, but I can safely say I'm glad it's only in one of the games. Anyway, I go through the gate and get my first power. Of course, good old Inferno. Only this time, powers are binded by gauntlets. I actually don't mind this, as the gauntlet looks pretty cool, and it allows you to combine powers later on in the game. Afterwards, I return to the tomb and activate the hidden pathway by using the gauntlet.
It bloody worked! You really are a hero!
I never doubted it for a second.
We make our way through the cave, and Walter tells you we need to gather an army to start the revolution. Whilst that's going on, I get to test out the old gauntlet on some bats.
Well, young hero.
We finally arrive at the Bowerstone industrial sewer entrance when, all of a sudden,
Fall back!
we make it to the colour skate in which I activate using my new willpower. We are teleported to the Old King's Sanctuary, the game's equivalent to a pause menu. This is the only game I can think of with this design, and it's awesome. I think the game devs wanted to explain how a character can change clothes wherever they are on the map, how they can fast travel wherever they want to go, and how they can have a huge arsenal of weapons to choose from, instead of the likes of GTA where you can pull a rocket launcher out your crotch. While Jasper acquaints himself with the Sanctuary, Walter and I use the map to fast travel to a location called the Dweller Camp. When we arrive, Walter explains the living situation at the Dweller Camp, stating Logan has forgotten the people who live in the mountains, in which has caused sickness, poverty, starvation, and death. He also explains the Dwellers are decent and tough people, and they also hate Logan's guts. So we end up at this gate where Walter tells me in order to get the Dwellers to back us on the revolution, we need to speak to their leader, Sabine. However, before doing so, Walter insists on a change of clothes to erase any princely vibes when asking Sabine for a favour.
Where can I find clothes?
Oh, don't worry. You'll find someone willing to take that money off you.
In Fable 3, when purchasing items at shops, you select the display stock instead of interacting with the shopkeeper. I'm not a fan of this. It limits what you want to purchase and the variety of items to choose from. However, it is an awesome mechanic if you want to buy furniture, which I love to do. It's a great way to increase a property's value and get more rent as a landlord. Once Jasper shows me the massive room of a wardrobe, I put on my new Dweller outfit and head on out to meet Walter to have our meeting with Sabine. For those of you who didn't know, the voice actor of Sabine is Ben Kingsley. He's in such films as Gandhi, Schindler's List and Shutter Island. Huh. Fable 3 had an awesome cast of voice actors. I'll be basically telling you all these little facts throughout the entire video, so be prepared, there's more to come. At this point in the conversation, Sabine tells you the 3 wishes you need to fulfill before he can support your revolution. First, he wishes you to go to Brightwall and underneath the academy, which your father built, retrieve an ancient relic. This will prove I am what Walter says, quote unquote, a hero. Secondly, I need to get rid of the mercenaries that keep killing, robbing people in Mistpeak by going to the mercenary camp and dealing with their leader. Third and finally, convince the dwellers' neighbours, i.e. Brightwall, to supply some food to the dweller camp.
Boulder. Oh. If we cannot eat, we will die, and the dead make poor allies.
Is that all?
Yep, that's the lot. Off you go then. Good luck. Nice knowing you.
Come on, boy.
After the meeting is concluded, Walter goes on ahead whilst the player can choose to follow or explore a bit of Mistpeak first. As you proceed through Mistpeak Valley, your dog can alert you to dig spots and chests for valuable loot. Depending on your dog's exploration level, depends on how frequent and how rewarding the loot is. You can also improve their charisma, which gives them more of a variety of dog tricks. You can also improve their aggression, which leads to better combat skills. When passing through Mistpeak, you come across a pack of wolves. This is the longest playtime at the start of any Fable game where you haven't even got a sword or a ranged weapon. I know technically I used a sword earlier, but I haven't got one equipped, nor have I even used a ranged weapon at this point. So I'm stuck with only using Inferno, which again is the only option of will given at this current stage, whereas in previous entries you had multiple choices right at the start, and to add insult to injury, you could also have a melee and a ranged weapon equipped too.
Don't go breaking any laws.
I mean, in Fable 2, you could have a toy sword and a toy gun, literally as soon as you press the start button. Another change made in Fable 3 is time control and raise the dead are no longer willpowers and are instead potions. Why? I get this gives the player a bonus power later on in the game, for example if you want to combine shock and tornado and also throw in time control simultaneously. But speaking as someone whose favourite willpowers are raise dead and time control, I do not like this feature. 9 times out of 10 I forget to stock up on potions before entering quest. To me, this feature sucks. Eventually, I leave Mistpeak and make my way to Brightwall village. I head up to the Brightwall Academy, where I'm greeted with a miserable reception.
Closed by order of the king. We don't serve drinks, we don't sell chicken feed. Please leave before the soldiers suspect you of gaining any real knowledge. Oh, sweet papyrus! A real visitor! I'm afraid I was speaking the truth. King Logan has closed the academy. I'm little more than a custodian these days.
To liven things up, I show Samuel the guild seal.
By the holy bookmark! The guild seal!
Once you tell him who you are, he leads you to the underground entrance where the ancient relic lies. He states that for many years, engineers, locksmiths and technicians have tried and failed to open this door, but he knew all along there was only one way to open it. Once I enter, I make my way through the secret chamber. I stumble upon what is known as a flit switch. My god, Fable 2 loved these. 100% overused them, especially in later DLC. But from memory, Fable 3 isn't too over the top with them throughout the majority of the game. Jasper introduces me to the armory, where I finally get to pick my melee weapon of choice, hit the flit switch and proceed on. There are 3 types of flit switches that require to be struck by either melee, ranged or will. So my first encounter of enemies in this chamber is none other than the Hollow Men. This is easily the later game enemy. For example, in earlier entries, at this point in playtime, you were only killing beetles and bandits. Doesn't bother me though. Matter of fact, I love killing Hollow Men, so I'm more than happy to start off killing them right now. So once I smash my way through groups of Hollow Men time and time and time again, I stumble across a broken bridge. So I take a nice dive and another dive. Then I use the Inferno to open this door. Upon entering, I come across another flit switch, this time a ranged one, to which I choose my desired weapon.
The rifle. Marvelous. In the meantime, experiment and see what incredible properties are waiting to be unlocked.
What Jasper is talking about is that you can upgrade each weapon except the starting hero weapons 3 times. Each upgrade will explain what you need to do in order to obtain said upgrade. This also goes for melee weapons. So once I get past the flit switch, I eventually find the entrance where the ancient relic lies. For those of you who have played Fable 2 will recognise this ancient relic as the magic box you pay 5 gold for at the start of the game. Once activated, I go through the portal which leads to the road to Rule, where Teresa tells me to open the box to reveal Logan's plan.
This is my Albion. Its cities will bow to my law, or they will burn. Its mountains will bend to my will, or they will fall. This is my Albion. Its people will do as I say, or they will die. Its future will be as I decree, or it will end. I've seen what must be done, and nothing will stand in my way. We will be greater, and we will be stronger, no matter what sacrifices we must make. This is my Albion, and I will see it destroyed before I surrender it.
After you've spoken with Teresa, you can now progress through to the next gate and use the collected guild seals to purchase some skills. Quick note here, every time you open a gate, a model of your character will be presented on this podium. If you were playing cooperatively, both sides of the gate would have both players represented. Now, in terms of upgrades available, the options are as follows. I can improve my ranged and will. I also chose to have another spell, this case lightning, which I most certainly will go for this power has been OP since day 1. There is still the option to upgrade my melee, but unfortunately I did not have enough guilds to do so. Then I can choose either a die pack, learn how to make friends, or the landlord pack. This is a peculiar way of handling the progression system. Instead of buying dies from a store or already knowing how to make friends, you have to earn seals and then unlock the abilities. Same goes for purchasing properties and shops, which you need to have separate skills for. You could argue that this is Lionhead Studios' way of making the game a bit more grindier and have a longer playtime. Because to be fair, Fable 2, you could make 1,000,000 gold coins insanely quick due to the payments of rent being made to you even when the game console wasn't even on. This mechanic is not available in Fable 3, and to add insult to injury, you can't buy everything straight away. You need to progress into the story in order to purchase shops. At the moment, I can only purchase houses with the landlord pack. If I want to purchase shops, I'll have to unlock the entrepreneur pack later on, but in order to do so, like I said previously, I have to pursue further into the main story. Once I selected my skills, I am teleported back to the front of the academy, where I am praised, and have also proven
Albion has a hero again.
Now that I've obtained the ancient relic, I am now on my way to deal with the mercenary issue, the second job from Sabine. I'm told to meet Walter at the local tavern, where we can discuss how to gain entry to the mercenary camp in Mistpeak. Walter has more information of who we're dealing with and how to gain entry into the camp.
I have some information on the mercenaries Sabine mentioned. They're led by a man called Saker. It won't be easy to get in, but I have a plan.
So when you enter the tavern, Walter apparently drunk the merc under the table and tells you to take his clothes as a disguise to gain entry to the camp. This is a little reference to the Trojan horse in Greek mythology. Okay, but the disguise won't do alone. I'll need some tattoos and a beard, but first, I need money. There are several jobs to partake in, such as blacksmithing, lute playing, and pie making.
Pie of the decade? Only time will tell. I made
Once I get enough gold, I purchase the items, put on the disguise, and head to the camp. quick note here, the loading screens will change from default posters to posters relevant to the main quest you're currently on. It's a pretty decent mechanic if you ask me. So I arrive at the camp, and without fail they think I'm Jimmy from a distance, and let me in.
You been drinking in Brightwall again?
It isn't long before they realise
That's not him!
It's not Jimmy!
So I fight my way through the camp, killing dozens of mercenaries that get in my way, either bashing them, shooting them, or making them explode. So I eventually gain entrance to the main boss battle, and the main boss is none other than Seika. The voice actor of Seika is Sean Pertwee, who has been in films such as 51st State, which changed to Formula 51, and Equilibrium. The boss fight is alright, it's pretty easy. I just use my summon potion and he gets distracted while I keep shooting him.
He's winning! The bastard's winning! Stop! You've won. This battle is yours. Kill me or let me live. It's your choice.
So you have to decide his fate. If you let him live, he will support you on your revolution to take over the throne. If you kill him, he's dead. And you become more evil.
We may be nothing but mercenaries, but we have our codes, like any other soldiers. We'll leave the dwellers be, no matter what you do. That is a warrior's promise.
So I'm gonna go with the former.
Thank you. I won't forget this.
So I head through the portal, Teresa tells me this is the first step to the revolution, yada yada yada, then I go and pick some upgrades. In Fable 3, if you wanted to learn more expressions when you interact with people, you needed to acquire them on the road to Rule. I prefer this method, it makes it easier to get all the expressions you need to unlock the challenges and the achievements later on. This beats travelling to different locations to find an NPC that doesn't even have the expression you're after, so then you'd have to either wait at a local tavern or fast travel to a different location. It was a pain in the arse. So I choose my desired skills and head back to Brightwall, but first I want to customise my character. Get some nicer clothes, change the colour, boom! When I get to Brightwall I meet Sir Walter in the tavern, accompanied by Samuel. They congratulate me on the victory in stopping Seika, then tell me that I need to help the people of Brightwall out before they can give food away to the dweller camp. In order to do this, I need to complete certain side quests. And I think the first quest we'll do is Gnomes Are Great and help out good old Brian. As I approach Brian, he is surrounded by 50 gnomes and seems to be in a bit of distress.
I've collected gnomes since I was a lad. My family said it was unhealthy. It made me take stock of my life. And I realised I had to make a change. So I cut off all contact with them. Now it's just me and the gnomes.
The voice actor behind the deluded Brian is Mark Heap, who many of you know as Jim from Friday Night Dinner.
Die for him. It's his birthday today, you know. I ordered a special present.
Brian tells me he was expecting a delivery, but it never showed up, so I go looking for it in its last known location in Miss Peak Valley. When I approach, I notice a carriage tipped over and mercenaries scavenging for loot.
Here, are we to refrain from defending ourselves until an outside agent has employed us to do so?
No. The survival imperative transcends any question of causality. Let's get him.
So I take these guys out.
For its sake,
So I grab the gargoyle, I return to Brian and hand him it. He rejoices and tests it out.
Gargulus multipulus us.
You should never move an injured person. Never leave home without a hat. Always look both ways before crossing a road. Don't eat wild mushrooms, they could be toadstools.
Oh, this
This is the greatest day of my life! Wait until I tell my family. Oh, I forgot I've stopped talking to them. Oh, who cares about them? This is mind-bogglingly amazing!
Once you complete a side quest, you get guilds, which, as you know, are used to upgrade your character, but also, in Fable 3, represent how famous you are, i.e. your renown points. Unlike in Fable 2, you had, I guess you could call them skill points, which really was skill XP, and you had renown points separate. Simpler times. Anyway, in terms of giving this quest a rating, I would give it...
I put my pointy hat on my little pointy hat.
I'd give this quest 6 out of 10. Short and sweet, but it was a fetch quest, and those are the second to worst quest plots you can get in gaming. On to the next quest, which is called The Missing Play. It starts off when I meet two actors, Lambert and Pinch, who cannot agree on what genre is better, drama or comedy. So they come to a compromise and tell me to grab a play written by a man called Morley. This play apparently contains a combination of drama and comedy. So I am asked to go looking for said play, and also, if I can, find a detective called Ransom Locke, previously hired by these two to do the job they hired me for. If I find him, I've got to bring him back. The play is in the academy right at the back.
Turn back now, mortal one.
And someone clearly doesn't want me to have it.
Thou seekest forbidden knowledge. No, really, I'm serious.
Surprise, motherfucker!
You lot just can't leave well enough alone, can you?
Real pretty.
This is pretty decent. I mean, it's still a fetch quest at its core, but what differs is the means. Now that I'm in the play, Morley is adamant not to reveal it to anyone. He is so embarrassed by it, he doesn't want anyone to find out, and leaves me here to prevent a leak. But coincidentally, I have met the detective, Ransom Locke, who tells me he has been trapped in this play to live out the rest of his days. There is some hope, however. The only way to leave the play is to reenact it, to give Morley some confidence that the play doesn't suck. The first sketch is a scene between two people, one declaring his love for the other, whilst the player decides to either declare their love as well, which according to Ransom...
Show Oliver that you love him, and we may be able to leave this scene.
My heart is yours, my love.
Well, that seemed to please Morley. On to the next scene. This one is about a miserable king. No, not that one. And he is upset, and if you don't amuse him, he will execute you. This is definitely the wrong time to declare love.
Coochie coochie coo.
Why is there no laughter coming out of the king, but the animation is showing it? Either this is a bug or the game devs tested this as finish. For their sake, I hope it was the former. Anyway, the king is amused and Morley is pleased. That means we enter the final scene. In this scene, you play as a mercenary called Titus and are told you have killed this particular merc's son, and his plans are revenge. Now you can either do what the script says and die, or you can improvise and kill everyone. I think I'll go with... As his men are defeated, the merc is so embarrassed and remorsed, he takes his own life. Morley, however, is so pleased with that performance, he sets Detective Ransom and I free, and gives me the play as a gift to spread across all of Albion.
I call it the ham sandwich.
Ham, oh, sandwich.
When I return back to the real world, I give Lambert and Pinch the play, and then I see them perform it.
Futility that is man, oh, how it doth sear my senses.
Great big giant bosoms!
What the hell was that?
Biggest load of old tosh I ever saw. It didn't even make sense.
Worst play ever.
The quest was actually alright. Deep down, it was a fetch quest. Another fetch quest. And I also found Ransom Lock pretty easily. There wasn't any kind of, going to search for him. He instantly was there as soon as I spawned into the play. So I think I'm going to give this a 7 out of 10. Our next quest, we head over to a chicken man named Bernard. His chickens have escaped their coops as the gate was left open. He is unsure how that happened. He believes
chickens are extraordinarily clever. Will you find the buggers for me?
So, the third fetch quest in a row. Only this time, I'm dressed as a chicken, as it's the only way to lure the chickens back to their coops. I wonder if I can... Yes, I can! This is for you, my brother. I go out and find 3 groups of chickens and lead them back to Barnard. One group is just under the broken bridge, the other is by the academy, and the final one is by the Brightwall entrance. Once I return with the last group of chickens, it turns out Bernard's wife is against keeping them cooped up to be eventually killed for sustenance. She believes they should live, so the player has to make a decision. Basically, you can either kill the chickens or let them live, see what might happen to them later on in the game.
I couldn't live with myself any longer being...
All right, we'll let them live. But only if you swear never to let them out again.
All right. We'll work this out.
I hope I haven't made a terrible mistake. But if I killed them, I would just make them martyrs.
Although it was pretty funny, it was another fetch quest, and quite short. Only this time I'm quite thankful it was. 6 out of 10. Alright, let's get this chicken outfit off of me.
Utterly magnificent.
And head to the final side quest before I crack on with the main story again. The next quest we have is a missing child quest. Another fetch quest, you gotta be The negligent parent tells me her child could be in a cave in the mountains of Mistpeak. Apparently she got the idea from her father. Keep in mind that I've got to actually find this girl and bring her back. And you know what that means? It's also gonna be an escort quest as well. Remember earlier when I said fetch quests are the second worst type of quest design? Well, to add insult to injury, this is a combination of a fetch quest and an escort quest. Worst possible quest sandwich you want to eat. Look, I get a lot of Fable quests will have you go somewhere, pick something up, take someone out, or escort someone from A to B. I get it. But at this point in the game, I expected more. For example, in Fable 2, at this point, you can make a woman fall in love with you, and you can either marry her to spite her ex-boyfriend's ghost, who she left at the altar, or do what he says and tell her it was all a joke and you don't really love her.
No, it can't be true. It can't be true! No!
Eventually, she ends up killing herself, and then when she finds out it was all her ex-boyfriend's idea and that you were involved with it, she is pissed, and it makes you feel so guilty and horrible.
Alex, wait!
And that was just one quest, and I've done 3 at this point, and they've been, at best, okay. I just think they could have done a little bit better, especially at the start. So I find the little girl and start to escort her back to her responsible mother. As we leave the cave, I kill wolves, more wolves, and even more wolves. So we venture back to Brightwall.
I spy with my little eye something beginning with...
So I finally bring the child back to her mother.
Little darling, what a relief! I was beside myself. I can't thank you enough. I'm forever in your debt.
Oh. Oh, really? Perhaps something can be arranged. That's it for the side quests at the moment. Now back to the main story. But first, let's purchase a property. Just like in Fable 2, you can become a landlord and rent property out, furnish it to increase its value and get more rent. However, this time, you must keep an eye on the property's condition, as it can deteriorate over time. This can be very annoying, especially as the PC version of this game was updated with a repair all feature. Alas, that feature is not available on Xbox, which means if I want to repair all my properties, I'll have to do it individually. Back to the story. As I return to Samuel, he congratulates me on the tasks I have completed and tells you that Brightwall will support the dweller camp and give them food.
These volunteers shall carry the supplies to the dweller camp.
But asks you for one final favour, that you make a promise to restore the closed academy when becoming king.
I will.
You make the promise and sign a document. This is the first of many promises and documents you will agree to. and it is your choice later on in the game whether or not you keep your word.
Return one day, not just as our hero, but as our king.
Just before we go any further, let's sell some things first. In most RPGs, if you go to a particular store, you can sell the relevant items at that store. For example, you can sell swords at a blacksmith. In Fable 3, however, you do not sell anything at any stores. You only sell at a pawn shop. Each town and village has one of these available. This makes things a hell of a lot easier, selling everything all at one place. I do like this. It makes it so much more convenient, and it's a bit more logical. When I go back to the sanctuary, Jasper explains to me the document showing my promise to Brightwall is displayed on the wall. All the other promises I make later on in the game will be following the same procedure. Before I head back to Sabine, I'm going to change my look and upgrade my melee and will. When you visit Sabine, you give him the music box, i.e. the relic he asked for.
Oh well, I never thought you'd actually get it, tell you the truth.
He also received the fruit from Brightwall. Sabine is most pleased and asks for one last favour, to make a promise to restore the mountains to their full glory and bring justice upon your brother Logan.
I promise.
Then may we be carried into the castle by the dark storms of fury!
You'll have to wait a little longer for that. It's still just us against a whole army. We need to recruit more people.
I was afraid you'd come over all logical and sensible.
So I sign the document and off I go into the portal. We are starting to see a routine now. Every main quest completed near enough will resort into another path in the road to rule being opened, and at each time Teresa offers a piece of advice.
Sabine and his people on your side. You have the beginnings of an army now.
Nothing here catches my eye other than the die, so I'm just gonna grab that. After meeting with Sabine, you speak to Walter. He then tells you he will meet you at the monorail station in Mistpeak to start recruiting more people for the rebellion.
I'll meet you at the station in Mistpeak when you're ready.
Before I go to Mistpeak, I'm gonna see how Brian is doing with his gnomes. Turns out they've all done a runner across all of Albion, except one hasn't got very far.
That's it! What happened? I heard your gun, and Lionel suddenly appeared out here. Did you shoot him? However you did it, you have to find the others. Hunt them down.
In Fable 2, you shot these guys, the gargoyles. In this one, it's gnomes. Just like in Fable 2, you have to find and shoot 50 in total. Every 10 you find and shoot, Brian will reward you. The gnomes are one of the different types of collectibles you can find in Fable 3, alongside silver keys, which unlock silver chests, and gold keys, which unlock the new included golden doors. But be warned though, unlike silver keys, when you use a gold key, it gets destroyed as soon as you open the golden door, so you'll need to find another one. I actually like this inclusion. It makes it a bit more interesting and gives the player more stuff to do. Now let's see how the chicken couple got on with that dilemma earlier. Apparently Bernard didn't want to let the chickens out and his wife didn't want them cooped up or even dead, so they came to a compromise and opened up a chicken racing contest. I was not expecting that, but it makes a lot of sense, weirdly. So I decided to bet on 2 chickens. I'll bet 50 on the Avenger and 100 on 2 wings.
2 wings, Timmy. Secret weapons are his 2 wings. And they're off! And there goes Mr. Cluggles shooting into the lead. There's Avenger moving out in front. Mr. Cluggles is way behind. That's going to hurt when the race ends. That's the Colonel trailing the pack. He cannot be happy with this. This is a perfect... Avenger trounces all opponents and carries the day.
Avenger came first, and 2 wings came second. Ah well, I only lost 40 gold. In the end, it wasn't too bad. Alright, an actual side quest. I am told by Mrs. Tibbins she wants a package delivered to Saul in Brightwall Academy.
I'd do it myself, but all that digging has done my back in.
Yeah, I know just how you feel. These sort of quests, as you know, annoy me, but as I know, with this particular quest, it progresses to something a bit more fun later on. So, I'm going to bite my tongue for now. This guy in Mistpeak Valley needs to be a...
But the routes become infested with marauding renegades.
Let's just get this over and bloody done with.
Thank you. Here's a little something for you. Oh, and come back later if you like, when I've got my stall set up. I'll give you a good price.
Well, at least I'll get a discount at Billy's Bazaar. That's his shop. That's what he's called it.
Let me buy your unwanted items.
So I fast travel to the monorail station to meet Walter.
I can never get over this place. 20 years ago, it was just a damp, murky void in the middle of nowhere. Now people queue up to get dangled across it in a steel box. And here it comes. Most of the people here will be heading straight to Bowerstone. But we're going to take a little detour first. I just hope something wrong.
It's about to fall!
Thanks, Captain Obvious.
Me and Walter quickly head down there by sword f***ing this gate and using a lift.
It fell somewhere up ahead. Come on.
As we get closer to the crash site, Walter begins to suspect something.
I know those sounds anywhere. Maybe the monorail falling wasn't an accident after all.
Looks like we'll be fighting our way through a hob cave.
This is where the fun begins.
They don't like getting shot at, do they? Shooting them from a distance is a good idea. That way you don't get the smell.
We approach a sort of gangway of hobs, conveniently next to exploding barrels, so...
What a shot and a half! Shot it right in its ugly mug.
We arrive at a blocked path caused by a hob wheel user, so I swim around, find some treasure, and flank them.
Smart enough to use magic. Not smart enough to wear their pants the right way round. Try explaining that.
As we get close to leaving the cave, Walter senses that something isn't quite right.
Have you noticed how quiet it all is here? Almost like... Almost like that was going to happen.
We are trapped in a mini arena, ambushed and surrounded by hobs. Guess there's only one thing for it. So we fight until, you guessed it, a portal comes up to the road to Rule. Die Pack, Vortex, Entrepreneur, and Spell Weaving. Let's go back.
I don't think you're going to find a way round this time. But I've got some magic of my own. Watch and learn. Boom!
Okay.
It worked. Right, let's get out of here, shall we?
So I combine my powers, leave the cave, and head straight to a place called Morningwood. When we arrive at Morningwood, Walter is relieved and takes it all in. He warns me we need to get to the defence border of Morningwood sooner rather than later.
Because, come nightfall, it's one of the most dangerous places in Albion.
When we arrive, we are greeted by a guard that has mistaken us for Hollowmen. Then when it dawns on him we're not, he opens the gate.
Welcome, Sir Walter. Sir.
There he is, the one and only, Major Swift.
Oh, Walter! What the blazes are you doing here?
We came looking for you. I have a proposition.
You came all this way to proposition us. And I thought you were here to save us from the legions of the damned.
We meet Major Swift, voiced by the late Edward Hardwicke, and Captain Finn, voiced by the co-creator of the Cornetto trilogy, Simon Pegg.
To eradicate them. Mainly, it's us getting eradicated. We lost some good men last night, including Lieutenant Simmons here. And the buggers will be back tonight.
These three used to fight side by side and talk about old times, until Swift points out the elephant in the room.
Is this...
The Prince, yes. I'll explain.
Walter then asks him to treat you like any other pair of hands, for now. Swift tells you to go with Finn to practice using the mortar, whilst Walter speaks to Swift about joining the revolution against Logan. You can also interact with some of the soldiers around the camp.
Look! He's doing it again! Hey, Grove! What's this one about? Come on, tell us a story.
Oh, you wouldn't like it. Violence, swearing, drunken orgies.
Yeah?
Yeah, it has none of those. Some of the words are really long.
Hey, I get by fine with short ones. In fact, I'm thinking of a few right now.
How can you read at a time like this? We could all be dead by morning.
I promised Captain Finn I'd read a few chapters of the autobiography he's working on, and I don't break promises, dead or not.
When you meet Finn at the mortar, you are introduced to Jamie, the most luckiest soldier, as he's never succumbed to his wounds. Depends on the way you look at it. The voice actor of Jamie is none other than Liverpudlian comedian Jason Manford. So you get to try out the mortar, and it's a pretty simple and easy mechanic to get used to. Highlight the enemy in the circle, then press right trigger to shoot.
Bush! Oh, goodbye, Mr. Scarecrow. That was bloody brilliant.
All right, Jammy, don't get too excited. You know what happens when you do. Let's just take care of the last one.
Just one left. Hang on. I don't remember setting this one up.
That was an awesome transition. I remember when I first ever played this, it definitely caught me off guard, which is what's supposed to happen, I know. But it worked, it really did catch me off guard, and that's rare for Fable. So I blast my way through dozens and dozens of Hollowmen. This is actually a great quest so far. Sure, it's pretty basic and easy, and it can get pretty repetitive and boring shortly, but it's a great start nonetheless. Well, eventually they start to breach through and you meet them head on at the main gate.
I can't hold it, they're too strong!
Now the one thing that bothered me about this is Hollowmen can transform into wisps, which means they can fly pretty much anywhere and spawn where they like. So why do they need to destroy a gate to get through when they can just fly over the wall? Anyway, enough chit chat, let's kill some Hollowmen. Boom, yeah. Ooh, boom, and a boom for you, and a boom for you. Boom, 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 boom. Yeah, kick some ass. Get some of that orbs. Guilds. Shoot this one, maybe this one, this one. this one, and this one. You're ugly, you're ugly, you're ugly, you're ugly, you're ugly, you're ugly. God damn it, there's so many of them. Ka-ching. Boom, 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 bang, dang. Ding dong, boom.
Oh, that's nice. Pure class.
Victory! All hail the Prince! Now, who's for a pint? Lieutenant Simmons, I specifically instructed you to remain buried.
Oh, doesn't anyone follow orders anymore?
Oh shit. Here we go again.
Now a boss fight against Lieutenant Simmons. Let's do this.
That was pretty damn impressive. So, your father wasn't the last hero of Albion after all.
We did it! Oh, really? We did!
Are you sure about that?
Will you join us?
I swore to serve my king to the death. We all did. But this isn't the way it was meant to be. The old guard has been shoved aside, and these new soldiers Logan's been gathering, they don't care about this land or its people.
Yeah, and I bet they get paid more.
Walter has absolute faith in you. And after seeing you in action, so do I.
Swift wants you to make a promise that when you become king, your army protects the people instead of oppressing them.
Protect the people instead of oppressing them.
Yeah, and don't forget the pay rise.
Shut up, Ben.
I promise.
So I say I promise, and I sign the document. Boom, another portal. It's getting to the point now the portal is becoming too frequent. I honestly don't know why the dev team didn't just have a regular skill tree design instead of the road to rule. I get it, it's supposed to show you the journey from how you start on the road of revolution to when you'll become king. But it's another thing to frequently take the player out of the immersion just to hear Teresa say, "You're doing good, keep it up," and then just go and get some skills and expressions. How about, instead of skills in the road to rule, have items your father or mother had in Fable 2 distributed bit by bit, ranging from weapons, clothes, diaries, treasure maps, or even cutscenes, just to cut through the repetition. Generally, just cram extra content in, have a skill tree separate, just as straightforward and simple as Fable 2's. So, another promise is made to Swift, and on we go to Bowerstone.
If you feel like exploring, go ahead. I'll meet you at the sewers to Bowerstone. You can't miss them.
Alright, let's do some exploring. Let's go to Sunset House. I'm going to try and see if I can work out the statue puzzle. Get the statues in the correct position, and it will pop the house from ghost form to real life. Boom. Once I solved it, I headed inside. Christ, that's not what I was expecting. When you read the book, it tells you of the previous owner / visitor, and they warn you not to sleep in the bed. So once I slept into the bed, I am taken to an area where there is a huge chessboard game. This is a reference to Chesty's quest you had to do when you slept in Brightwood Tower in Fable 2. So I played some chess with my opponent until he got bored, and then the chess pieces start to attack me. Eventually I defeated them, and the chest says I can return whenever I want, either to play a full game of chess or to kill things. This was a nice little quest. Not gonna lie, it wasn't too bad. It was fun to kind of work out the puzzle at the start and then walk in and see like the hung skeleton and the warning from the book. So I am gonna give it a nice 7 out of 10. It was quite short, and it wasn't as more in depth as the previous chesty quest was in Fable 2. Alright, let's test out these dies and head to Walter at the sewers. I'm guessing Morningwood is such a dangerous place that people thought it would be futile to create a legitimate road to and from there. Could you imagine living there? Yeah, I'm just gonna pop into town. Oh, okay, cool. What way are you going? Oh, you know, the usual way. Through the sewers. It baffles me, because the only other possible way is to head straight through Morningwood, then through Millfields, then through Bowerstone Market, just to reach Bowerstone Industrial. So you either do a really long detour, or go through the sewers to reach the Industrial. Vice versa. I can't remember, but later on in the game, if I can change this, I will, because this is just stupid. Anyway, Walter tells me the city is in serious poverty and starvation, and there's plenty of disease going around. And you also don't see children running around having fun, because they're reduced to either working in factories or begging on the streets. Then we see some commotion happening nearby.
I wonder what's going on up there. Let's see, shall we?
Reaver is exploiting us! We deserve fair pay! We demand better working conditions! We're workers! We're not slaves! Reaver treats us like animals, and we're not gonna take it anymore. There's only one thing for it. We have to stand up to Reaver!
But lying down is so much easier than standing up.
Of course, Reaver, the best marksman in all of Albion, and also the most corrupt, backstabbing murderer, superbly voiced by the excellently talented Stephen Fry.
Another complaint will be shot. Secondly, any worker who takes more than a 3-second break will be shot. Thirdly, any worker who breaks any other rules I have yet to formulate will, yes, you guessed it, be shot. I return to work now. As you know, I'm a generous man and likely to start handing out prizes right away. So go on, shoo! Be off with you! Chop chop!
That's why we're here. That's why Albion needs you. Your brother must have been out of his mind when he handed control of Industrial to Reaver. We should go on. It's time you met the Bowerstone resistance.
Did you want to say that any louder? I'm pretty sure the dispersed protest literally 2 feet away didn't quite hear you. Anyways, once that's over, we head to, you guessed it, the sewers. Anyway, Walter is unsure on what kind of reception we'll get from
the Bowerstone resistance. But it was never safe for me to come down and meet the rest of them. Hello? Hello? Maybe we've got the wrong place. Let's, get out and...
Don't move!
We won't move if you won't shoot. Deal?
You better tell your friend that.
It's all right. Just do as he says.
Who are you? And what are you doing here?
I'm Walter, and this is, well, that really doesn't matter right now. We're here to speak with Paige.
I say we shoot.
Listen, we're on your side. Just hear us out.
We don't make deals with spies. Shoot!
Wait!
Put your weapons down. I thought I gave the orders round here, kid.
Sorry, Paige. Gotta be carried away.
Whoa, 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 whoa. What did she say?
I thought I gave the orders round here, kid.
Kid? Kid? He is one old kid. He is pushing 50 at best.
Walter, glad you're all right.
And I'm glad you came in when you did.
I wasn't exactly expecting you. Let's talk somewhere a bit more private.
There she is. Good old Paige. Paige is the resistance leader fighting to save the people of Bowerstone from Logan's madness and cruelty. She is voiced by the stunning actress Naomi Harris, who plays Moneypenny in the fantastic Skyfall and the mediocre Spectre. Anyway, Walter tells Paige who you are.
He's a hero.
Great. Give him a medal.
No, I mean he's a hero. Like his father.
Really? It doesn't change anything. Your brother is the reason we live underground. He's the reason we fight.
Damn. She wants you to inspire the people in the city, help them improve you're nothing like your brother, then she'll start to trust you. Alright, I guess I'll look at my map and see what quests there are. What's that? You wanna go and do a quest? No, you gotta go through the portal first. Magic. Done. My first quest involves two brothers, Max and Sam, a returning pair of characters from Fable 2, want you to retrieve a book called the Normonomicon. The book is in their mum's grave in Millfields. Yikes. Turns out this book can be used to organise a ghost party.
It's the Normonomicon? It can summon the dead?
So I head over to Millfields and my dog can sense the grave before I even turn on my console. Once I dig the grave and retrieve the book, I wake the mother up, and some Hollowmen too. So I do what I do best. Roll around constantly and shoot them occasionally. Yeah, I roll a lot. Then the big boy strolls out of his tomb, so I actually start to use some magic. When I speak to the mother, she's like, "This reminds me of that time the hero saved my songs long ago, twice. Oh, you can keep the book, it's uncomfortable for me to have in my grave. And if you've seen my sons, tell them to come home." Lady, I just dug up your grave, took a dangerous book guarded by hollow men, and you do not for 1 minute suspect anything wrong. Like you suspect your sons had anything to do with this, despite stating they've done this sort of thing on separate occasions in the past. And if I should so happen to see them in any particular way, I should tell them to come back to you? Sure. Yeah, okay. Yeah, I'll do that. Yeah, no worries. Someone needs to hit it with a good old logic award. I return and give these idiots the book. They have themselves a party.
Now then, Necrus, Risius, Cordroy!
Even though it was the 135th fetch quest in a row, it was still pretty decent, and I actually like the idea that these characters came back in this Fable, so I'm going to give this an 8 out of 10. My next quest is called Restoration, where I meet a man in Millfields who needs money to build a bridge from Millfields to a deserted location called Driftwood. He plans to open it up to travellers to repopulate the area, so I agree and give him 750 gold. Wouldn't really call it a quest, as it lasted as long as I do in bed, so I won't raid it this time. The next quest is called The Final Insult. I meet a man called Arthur who has been insulting every single person across all of Albion and only has one person left to insult, and asks you to deliver this letter to him. You can actually find Arthur's letters all around Albion from time to time.
No mistake. Possibly a trout, or maybe even weirder, like a sea cucumber or something. Though technically they aren't fish. Anyway, you look like some kind of mutant fish thing. So there, yours sincerely, Arthur.
So I head to Brightwall and hand over Arthur's insult to the recipient.
Dear Zachary, you are an ugly, incompetent buffoon and nobody likes you. Yours sincerely, Arthur. Oh, how rude.
Final insult 6 out of 10, and I'm feeling generous. I stay in Brightwall and come across a man and a wife arguing outside their house with the husband being kicked out. He tells me he's had enough and wants his wife to leave him, so he asks you to seduce her and eventually fake propose to her, so that she'll have an affair and leave him. Weird plan, but sure, let's do it. When I enter, I woo her with my charm, by doing some pat cake. In order for me to get anywhere with Veronica, she wants jewellery. She's in luck, because I know for a fact I have like 4 diamonds, 6 emeralds and 2 jets in my inventory. Turns out they don't count as jewellery according to the game, and I have to buy her a necklace, which is fine, but why is the game telling me to buy her jewellery when I have over 10 items in my inventory? If the game wants me to buy her a necklace, why doesn't it say buy her a necklace? Once I bought the necklace, I headed back and she's overjoyed. Then I take her to the bridge of Brightwall and give her a big wet kiss on the lips. Now she wants me to propose. Turns out while I was at the jewellery store, I forgot to buy the ring.
You've got a ring, you've got a house. You're gonna be very hard to resist, aren't you?
So I fake propose to her and we confront the husband. Then he reveals that this was all a ruse right from the start before filing for the divorce. Dude, what are you doing? Then, with a twist, she asks you if you truly love her, then kill the husband, take the money, the house, and of course, her. Nah, I'm kidding. She's messed up. Get rid, mate. That was a fun quest. Bit of running around like an errand boy, but it was fun. I like the choice you can get at the end. It's interesting. It's got some replayability, which is always nice to see in an RPG.
You're not really going to divorce your true love, are you?
You're unbelievable. You just tried to have me killed, and now you're trying to worm your way back into my heart.
I was confused. This whole awful affair has reminded me how much I really love you. Let's just tear up those papers and start again. And as long as we're tearing, maybe we should have at least clothes as well.
Oh, well. No. Wait a minute, I'm not falling for that. It's over! Get out of my house!
Oh, all right, fine. You're a disappointment, William. I wanted to make it work, but if you don't want to try, I'll leave. And I'm taking my jewellery with me.
8 out of 10. I returned back to Saul, the guy I delivered a package to earlier from the dweller Mrs. Tibbins. Turns out he needs an to the ancient library underneath the academy, and gives you the key to enter. Once we get down there, I kill a few hollow men like last time, and boy do I wish I could upgrade my weapons, which I can't because I need to progress into the main story, which I can't again because the game wants me to do side quests for a bit, and if I just had a skill tree not tied to the fucking story, I could upgrade. When I unlock the door, Saul is amazed what we have found, and tells me to come back and see him later on while he studies the discovery. Why keep having the player come backwards and forwards just to carry on exactly where they left off? I get it for certain quests such as Restoration, where the player can invest money to discover another part of the map, or Chicken Chaser, where you can save the chickens and have chicken racing going on in Brightwall. This gives the player the incentive to come back, because it has a purpose. 6 out of 10. Quick note here, what I said earlier about the game restricting you on upgrading skills until you progress through the road to rule, i.e. the story, you could argue the player has the option to upgrade their weapons through specific weapon challenges. However, I have done this for both my desired weapons and it took me no more than 1 hour and they're maxed out, so I'm back in the same boat I was in, again, and being forced to play the story before being allowed to upgrade my weapons any further. Sometimes with each gate in the road to rule they don't even provide any upgrades for your weapons, and only provide expressions, job promotions and dies, and you'll need to progress even further to get what you're after. I mean, if you're not bothered by this mechanic and actually don't mind waiting, then that's great. But when the game only provides one viable option, it limits the choices for the player in a game solely based about choices. It's supposed to be an action RPG after all. I know I've used this reference a lot, but can you blame me? Back in Fable 2, you were allowed to upgrade any particular ability at any point after the first hour of playing, provided you had enough XP for that particular ability. Sure, there wasn't that many side quests to do in Fable 2, so you could just drink XP potions, which is sort of stupid and way too easy to get everything way too quickly. So here's the solution: add more side quests to do in Fable 3 to allow the player to grind for some XP to upgrade their abilities. XP potions have already been taken out, which is a good start as this balances out the gameplay, and have the player make the decision whether or not they want to grind for upgrades doing side quests now, or hit the main story and do side quests another time. Rant over, moving on. My first quest in the newly discovered Driftwood, I speak to a man who wants to find a new home after Reaver kicked them out of their camp in Millfields. Unfortunately, there are hobs surrounding the islands and it is too dangerous for these guys to live here under these conditions. So, he asks you to find all of the hobs and get rid of them and make it safe. So I swim around and locate the hobs in different locations across the area. This is pretty neat. It gives me the time to explore and find hidden treasures and crack on with the quest simultaneously. Once I killed the last group, I headed back to the quest giver and gave him the go-ahead to inhabit here. This quest was alright. Actually, I had a lot of fun exploring the new area and got to kill some hobs. Plus, when you come back later, this place will look different and will go through a number of changes in the quests to come. When I look at my map for some quests, I notice Sam on his own without his brother. So I meet him and he explains the party got out of control and Max won't come home. Anyway, they had a huge argument and Max has gone off with the party in this too. Sam wisps in to activate the door, enabling passage for me. I see Max straight away and try to drag him back. Oh please God no, I can't drag him all the way back to Millfields. This is like an escort quest on Mythic. Are you serious? Why couldn't they fly over the wall? Max went over 40 feet in the air, which proves my point exponentially. They did not think this through. Anyway, I spend pretty much the entire quest chasing Max as he constantly flies away, sending more and more enemies towards me, ranging between hollow men and ghosts. This is the first time I've had to kill ghosts, and it's a pretty nice change than to simply just be killing hollow men all the time. They're my favourite things to kill, hollow men, don't get me wrong, but even now I can say they're being overused a bit. After I've killed everything he sends at me, I chase him to a room where he's locked the entrance on both sides and starts a mechanism that brings those heavy, unescapable spikes closer and closer towards me. What will I ever do in this predicament?
I mean, you might only be seconds away from death. Oh, right, sorry.
Anyway, Sam comes in and saves the day as I press on. Yeah, this game is screaming for the bullet sometimes. I mean, I'm playing this on the Series X. As much as it looks pretty,
are you sure about?
And as nice as it plays for a 2010 game, it does suffer in some areas. Before we go on, let's take a step back. Look, a stealth section. There hasn't been a stealth section in a Fable game since 2004. Hell yeah, I'm game, let's do this. I'm also shit at stealth and they spot me straight away. And I have to fight hollow men. And the door closes, so I can't get through until I kill them all. When I finally get to Max, he's ranting on about how his mum has always been a nag and that he can't stand her and etc. And then starts playing on the coolest looking church organ I've ever seen. Every note he plays, more ghosts attack me. Once I finish them off, Sam tries to stop him, but he gets persuaded and has a drink, and for some reason Mario mushrooms up. Then he decides to play more of the organ to send enemies to attack me. And you know what that means! This is a great quest. You've got ghosts coming after you, hollow men if you step into the light. And while all of this is going on, both of the brothers are having a huge argument still. And it's brilliant.
Oh, don't be such a wanker.
Hello there. So their mom magically appears and catches them red-handed, then thanks me again for retrieving the book and tells me to keep it again. I like this quest. It was lengthy, had a lot of variety from ghost killing, hollow men, spike room, avoiding the spotlight to gain entry quicker, and a final showdown room, and constant fighting. That is a quest. 9 out of 10. I decided to return to Saul and give him a hand in clearing out the next area in the chamber underneath the academy. He gives me the key and I head down to the recently discovered library. I clear out the library full of hollow men and head through to the next area using the key Saul gave me. Once the coast is clear, I return to Saul and ensure it's safe to go back down there. I can see where this is going, so whenever there's a quest from Saul there'll be more of the chamber to discover, which is good. Bit short, slightly, predictable, but enjoyable nonetheless. 7 out of 10. Next quest, I meet a distressed man called Laszlo at Bowerstone Industrial. Turns out he is closing the homeless shelter down for good in order to pay the ransom for his fiancée. I decide to help rescue his fiancée, so we get to the kidnapper's house, which is literally 15 feet away. Laszlo speaks to the doorman telling him we're here to pay the ransom, stating me as the bag man. So the doorman lets us through and into the cellar we go. When we enter, we walk through a pretty spacious room filled with mercs. Yeah, there's no way this is going to turn into a combat sequence, no way whatsoever. Anyway, we approach the gang leader and then Laszlo immediately says, "Oh yeah, we ain't got no money, this guy's going to fight you. Tell me where my fiancée is." What? What is this? What are you doing? I knew this was going to happen, but why so suddenly? There was one guy upstairs we had to pretend to have the money in order to get past him and go into the cellar. One guy. But when there's a room of at least 8 of them, and the gang leader Ferret, who probably has your fiancé seconds away from death, you thought this was the perfect time to reveal our true plan. Not very subtle, Laz. Here's an idea. When approaching the leader, Laszlo says he's not giving the money until he's seen his fiancée. Then the leader refuses, then this turns into a heated debate. Boom. Execute the fight sequence. Not, oh, I don't have the money and this random dude I met 5 minutes ago is going to take you all down. I think the writing in Fable has always been brilliant, but at times, especially in Fable 3, I stop and think, is this intentional to sort of capture the quirky Fable feeling, or is it just poor writing? I think most of the time, it's the latter. Anyway, I kill all the mercs and Ferret opens the door and tells us where the fiancé is.
This didn't have to happen. Well, it still doesn't. We merely got off on the wrong foot. I'm no threat to you without my men, and I'm only too happy to return your fiancé. I can be quite accommodating.
Get on with it then.
Well, the thing is, he's actually not...
Apparently, his fiancée is being kept in the sewers, while Laszlo stays here on watch, I think you could call it. I go look for her in the sewers.
Elise?
Yeah, turns out Laszlo's fiancée is none other than Elise herself. This is awesome! I love that they returned her instead of writing her off either choice you made at the start. This quest just went from questionable execution to enjoyable storytelling. Brilliant.
That day in the throne room. That was the most horrific day of my life.
Today's not going to be great either if we don't get you out of here. Come on!
With each whole group I kill and the more I progress through the sewers, the more Elise confesses to me how she felt the day she was spared and how she feels now.
I can't do this. You can't save me again, like that day.
This isn't like that. This time, no one gets hurt.
Just when I think I have everything sorted out, you come back into my life. Watch out! Is that all of them? You were amazing. I've never seen anything like that. It was like something out of Walter's stories about your father. You're a hero.
It's not all it's cracked up to be, believe me.
Things are becoming clearer to me now. When Logan started to behave so appallingly, I told myself he wanted to prove his strength by seeing off a few agitators. Hobbs! Get them! Thank you for saving me. I don't just mean today. I should have thanked you back in the throne room, but I just felt so guilty.
I made the choice that day.
And I hated you for it. Feeling that those people died because of me. It was awful beyond words. But there was something worse. Deep inside, I felt happy. I felt happy, even as they were dragged away, that I was still alive. Oh, I'm so sorry.
You have nothing to be sorry for. Anybody would feel what you did. It was an appalling situation. And the only one to blame for it is Logan.
Well, now that I've said that, thank you.
You're welcome. Should be almost back to Laszlo.
Oh, bloody hell, Laszlo. What am I going to say to him?
When we return to the hatch, she stops and asks you to either do the right thing and tell her to go back to Laszlo, or
grab me and kiss me and tell me to come back.
Well, she does give a compelling argument. This time, you have 3 choices, which I was not expecting, but after doing a little research, turns out there's no point, because the no comment choice is the exact same as stay with Laszlo, just with a different kind of interaction. As much as Laszlo seems like a nice guy, I didn't keep her alive all this time so she can bonk someone else.
But I'm back now.
And I'm so glad you are. Listen, I need time to break it to Laszlo. Please, say nothing now, then find me at the shelter in a few days and we'll be together. I love you.
Well, it turns out Laszlo's gun pointing didn't go so well. God damn it, there's no wonder she's dumping you. This quest had a rough start, give it that, but it got really good towards the end. 8 out of 10. Next quest is in Bowerstone Market, where a gambler has a debt to pay to some unfriendly people and wants safe escort to Driftwood, as it's a remote and distant place that hardly anyone has heard of at this point. Plus, he says he will help fund for any more renovations there as well. Alright, let's go. Yeah, at this point you're probably wondering why I'm diving around more than I usually do. Well, it turns out I don't have any health potions and I have to wait for my little health to regenerate. What happened to the good old days when your health bar was longer than your screen? I miss upgrading my character properly. Well, I best get back to it. We finally arrive at Driftwood, safe and sound, and as you can see, it's already started to change since I cleared the Hobbs out earlier. He does contribute to changing Driftwood for the better, and killing bandits was pretty fun, so I will give this quest a 6 out of 10. It was just a bit too long for an escort quest. I like them if they're 1 second long or none at all. Moving on! The next quest is called The Game, where I meet 3 so-called wizards. They asked if I would be interested in playing as they are in need of a hero, so I said yes and they gave me the green magical orb.
When I hold it, I start to shrink in size in order to start the game. Wait a minute, what's happening to my voice? Uh-oh, this can't be good. The plot consists of a hero...
Excuse me. That must save the princess from the evil baron. This is a great start so far, so I proceed to the village and decide to talk to the townsfolk before pressing on. This is entirely optional, as you can just speak to the gatekeeper straight away if that tickles your fancy.
I can see from your good looks and heroic demeanour that you must be on a quest to rescue the princess. I saw her yesterday, carried off by the Baron's evil servants, a troop of Hobbs. They took her through this gate to the castle on the hill.
What, that's it? No clues to solve or anything?
Well, the hero has to figure out how to get up the hill.
You mean like by climbing it?
Hey, no spoilers.
The hero decided to investigate the eerie tower on the hill.
It's not very eerie though, is it? Ben, you did the tower, didn't you?
Yeah, but I thought you said pretty.
What kind of adventure has a pretty tower on a hill?
Be quiet, you two. I'll deal with this.
Ah, now you...
This quest is awesome. It's kind of fourth wall breaking, in a way, with some of the dialogue you hear during this quest.
Forging doesn't work. I didn't have time to do the models.
Are you serious? A game like this is all about customization, isn't it?
When I enter the tower, I am presented with
teddy bears.
I head down and open the chest. Turns out I have to work out a riddle in order to obtain a sword, which is the only weapon to defeat the Baron.
Oh no, not one of your puzzles. They're far too hard. Just let him open the chest.
If all trimps are trumps, and all trumps are trumps, then all trimps are definitely trumps. True or false?
Actually, that's rather easy.
Oh, just give him the sword!
Turns out I got given the sword straight away. Nice. The commentary of this quest is amazing. I love how they can't agree on what is good for the player and what isn't. Either way, they have to make a decision whether they like it or not, so the player enjoys the game. That's the most important. Anyways, I enter the next room, which is pitch black, and the only light is on a lever. When I go to activate it, nothing happens.
Okay, who set up the lever?
I thought you did.
Well, I thought it was Jim's job.
Quick, let's make something up.
Well, how about it releases a cloud of lovely butterflies?
Worst game ever.
How about a standard Hollow Man encounter?
Yeah, let's have some bloody action.
Come on, move it over.
Foolish hero. Your pursuit ends here, for you will be devoured by the killer monsters of this ravine.
5 legendary condoms of gods forged in the fires of hell for her pleasure. Damn, I'm gonna have some of that.
The killer monsters are... chickens? A chicken?
Yes, I thought it was time to put in something cute, but also to make us think about our relationship with food and that.
Bloody hell, Ben, you... Wait, let me fix it. There. This is no ordinary chicken. It's a fire-breathing demon chicken.
You can't be serious. They will provide no challenge whatsoever. Holy crap, they're killing me! I finally enter the last section of this quest. Throughout the entirety of this quest, I kind of forgot my character got shrunk right at the start. But this is a beautiful reminder. This is pretty impressive for a 2010 game, I'll give it that. This is my favourite part of this quest. As you're fighting and killing your way through hobs to get to the evil Baron and save the princess, you can see the wizards commenting on your next move, voice acting the Baron and princess. It's a very well crafted sequence, I must say. When I reach the Baron, he boasts that nothing can destroy him except the one true sword, which I have, but he doesn't know about.
That is the bane of my existence, which there is no way you could possibly have. The sword! The Bane sword! It cannot be! No! I am slain!
What kind of rubbish game lets you kill the villain in one blow? Well, you gave the hero that Baron's Bane sword.
Yeah, but it wasn't supposed to be so easy to get.
Overall, this quest was awesome, and you get 40 guilds for completing it. I liked how there were changes made throughout the game, the variety of enemies you get to kill, the changing of the environment and the scenery. It's one of the best side quests in Fable 3, hands down.
This quest deserves nothing less
than 9 out of 10.
Great work, my friend, you are fantastic!
And that's pretty much it for side quests. There are some later on you can go back to, but they're pretty much clear a cave here and take this there. And I think I've covered enough of the side quests to give an overall conclusion later on. So I meet back with Paige and she's pleased with my support given through the land. She then tells me that Reaver must be stopped as Bowerstone Industrial has never been so bad. She wants us to go to one of his weekly masquerade balls in his mansion in Millfields, dressed in this disguise. Just going to change a few colours and done. When I meet her in Millfield, she tells me some of her men have tried to infiltrate Reaver's house before and have not returned. If we come by any, we should try and rescue them. We are greeted to a dead party with a concierge voiced by Jonathan Ross. As we walk with him, he tells us what's happened and what it's like at these masquerade balls, from fizzy pop to group orgies.
I can sort you out a nice orgy later on, should the mood take you. What do you say?
Just keep walking, you strange little man.
At the end of the guided tour, he asks us to hand over our weapons, as there are certain rules when entering the ball. Paige isn't having any of it, and blatantly says,
I'm afraid I need to keep mine. I'm here to find some friends.
Oh, you're the brave noble rebels.
What was the point in wearing disguises with our weapons on them, stating to the first person we see we're here to find some friends, when they instantly work out we're the resistance?
There's one of my men.
Oh my god, this is such a trap.
Are you all right?
Get out, now!
Where are the others?
All dead. Reaver knew you'd come. He's been waiting for you.
What?
I'll get him out.
My! More busy little bees here to steal Reaver's honey. So industrious, so committed, so bloody annoying.
I guess this is Fable 3's way of introducing the arena section, as every single Fable game in the past has had an arena fighting element. Fable 1, you had to do the arena to drag Jack of Blades out of hiding to find out more about your missing mother. In Fable 2, you had to do the arena because you needed to be selected to work for Lucian at the Spire in order to get close to him. In Fable 3, because the arena was in the previous two and they needed to put it in this one, I'm pretty sure that was the only reason.
Do try to put on a good show for my guests, won't you?
Show? You expect us to entertain you?
But of course. It's just a game, my little sweet.
Well, with this arena, there is a Wheel of Misfortune. Wherever it lands, that's what I'll be fighting. I actually like this, but the only time this is really exciting is the first time you play through this. The Wheel of Misfortune is not random and will follow the same pattern every single time you replay this section. There is no replayability. There might be an extra quest later on that randomizes it, but throughout this story part, it's the exact same. What a missed opportunity. As much as I love the arena sections in all the Fable games, this one by far is the weakest. First one's up. Hobbs. Let's do this.
You will laugh, you will cry, you will have your sinews gnawed upon. Bring out the hob!
Dear me! Whoever there is dead. No more. It is shuffled. Stick on someone. Stick on usually.
Most binary of ways, but I quite agree. This game grows tiresome, and my guests, they grow restless.
No need to get restless, sweetheart. Barry Hatch is here to take care of you. Fancy a quick jig? Oh, you're a rough one, ain't you? But I like that in a woman. You're just... What? Wait, hey, Reaver! Help! No!
Oh, dear. Have you brutes had any idea how hard it is to find good staff? Still, one might as well enjoy the show. What's the use of a secret society without a little secret, after all?
This is the last party I take you to.
Well, I must say you've made me out to be a somewhat poor host. Rather rude of you to dispose of all my guests.
Now it's your turn, Reaver.
Sweet Jesus.
Oh, my dear girl, why not stop all this bickering? The three of us could go up to my quarters and have a private party.
Do you have any idea who this is? It's Logan's brother, the Prince.
The King's brother, a bona fide hero.
This cutscene is terrible, and not because it's broken,
Best of luck with this whole revolution.
but it sums up how bad the writing was done for this quest. The performances from Fry and Harris are great, nothing wrong with them, it's just the writing. I mean, what was the point in wearing the disguise if we have weapons to start with? What was the point in wearing a disguise if when we arrive are almost immediately into combat? What was the point in wearing a disguise when Paige just tells Reaver, I'm the Prince, Logan's brother? The disguises, right from the start, were useless. I am dumbfounded. You could argue this was a trap and there was no way of knowing the disguises wouldn't work, but the execution was terrible. Why not delay the trap, have some tasks to do first, infiltrate the mansion, try and find a secret doorway or something, then execute the trap? Not immediately, because I first played this back in 2010 and even then I was like, this is just fucking pointless. If the trap was delayed, it could shock the player the first playthrough and excite them the second playthrough. All in all, the fighting was good. There were only 5 rounds instead of the usual 8, and there was a new type of enemy, but the enemy had the same fighting style as the Highwaymen in Fable 2.
Oh, you should have done that acrobat thing you do.
All in all, I am glad this quest is done.
You have to make it stop.
I promise.
Once I've made the promise to Paige to help the people of Bowerstone, I open the next road to Rule Gate, then return for a message from the town crier.
What's going on?
All citizens gather at the castle for the king's message. The speech will commence short.
This is never good.
You should find out what it's about.
Before I head to the castle, gonna get this hat off me.
Traitors walk amongst us. Traitors plot to end us. Traitors would have you believe their cause is noble. They wear many masks. They may look like your friends. They may even look like your most loyal servants. This is the face of a traitor.
Swift.
Major Swift, a respected member of the army and sworn servant of the kingdom, has plotted against us all. He was apprehended attempting to turn loyal soldiers against us, and is thus charged with espionage, treason, and conspiracy. Yet there are still others darkening our land with their betrayal. We shall hunt these traitors down, wherever they may be, and they shall suffer the same fate as Major Swift, the fate of all enemies of the crown.
He has to be stopped. No matter what it takes, he has to be... Come on, we need to tell the others.
Damn, that's actually a pretty good cutscene. Makes you really want to kill Logan. Boy, I can't wait to be king. Anyway, I meet Finn back at the Resistance, and apparently before Swift was captured, he got word to Walter telling him to find more allies in a land called Aurora. So I leave with Finn and head to the docks to steal a ship. We arrive with the elite guards at the gate. After Ben fails to talk our way in, we clear our way through to the ship. We meet Walter and take the ship to Aurora.
Ben!
When I meet up with Walter, he explains Finn is nowhere to be found, and we should probably get going. We head through a cave and unlock a mysterious passage leading down further and further in the depths of this cave. This is actually pretty good. I'm liking this so far. Anyway, throughout most of the exploring, Walter seems to grow more and more paranoid and afraid of where we are. Then we open another portal. That's when he starts to feel like we're being watched.
Do you ever get the feeling somebody's playing games with us?
All the time.
Who's there?
All that you are will
Show yourself.
This isn't good.
The children are here to play.
As I clear as many of these dark figures as possible, Walter tries to keep the light from going out.
No! Not the light, not the bloody light! Come on, Warrior. These things are all around us. Come on, come on, come on!
Jesus, Bernard Hill's voice acting is brilliant. As a matter of fact, replaying this entire quest art is just amazing. The fact that most of the game has mainly been about bad king must be stopped. It's now gone into a completely different turn, and the building of tension to find out what's going on has been executed excellently. Bravo! This is when the writing comes kicking back in. As we continue to find our way out, we hear constant tormenting by the darkness, which leads Walter to completely freak out. Then he fucking yeets his torch to him. We find ourselves at a halt due to the path leading quite far down. I jump first while Walter tries to psych himself up.
Right, here I come then. 3, 2, 1.
Walter!
With Walter gone God knows where, I press on whilst being tormented and attacked constantly by the darkness. Eventually, I find Walter, and he's not looking so great. I kill everything they send me, in shadow form to body form. Then, I defeat the final boss, which is this Sentinel. I rescue Walter, who has lost his vision completely, and guide him out towards the exit of the cave. As we traverse through the desert, Walter doesn't seem to be able to go on, or I'm given a prompt to leave him or carry on. Either way leads to the same outcome, so it doesn't much matter. Eventually I do end up leaving him and going off alone, being tormented still by the darkness.
I need help. Please.
I'm blind. I can't see. Help me. You abandoned your friend to die. He's calling for you.
I also learn of the reason why Walter hates caves.
Retreated into a cave. But they never came after us. They just blew the entrance. Sealed us in. We spent 3 days in that cave. No light. No food. Just 3 men waiting to die in the dark.
The light in your eyes offends us. Let it go out!
I eventually do, as I go completely blind and collapse.
There's nothing left. You're gone. All gone.
Then I am found by a mysterious person, and Ben Finn. I wake up in the city of Aurora. This avatar-looking woman is Kalin, the leader of the Aurorian people. She tells me Walter is alive and that she has seen his condition before. When I speak to Finn, he tells me how he ended up here and how he organised a search party to find us. Then I am shown the city by Kalin.
Welcome to Aurora, the city of nightmares.
She then tells me the darkness is called the Crawler, which is also responsible for the attacks and deaths of the people of Aurora. To get a better understanding, she tells me to have a look around and speak to the residents of this place to find out more information. I find several letters posted around the city, one of them from Kalin herself. She talks about the loss of her parents to the Crawler, and she will do her best to protect Aurora.
I will carry myself with the strength you gave me, and I will try to lead our people as you led them. You stood against the darkness and were an example to us all. Your courage lives on in the hearts of every Auroran. I hope I will not disappoint you. Your ever-loving daughter, Kalin.
I speak to the only person not hiding inside his house. He says he's honouring the dead, which includes his daughter and his wife, and is also not afraid to join them.
What are you doing here?
Damn. Well, I think that's enough exploring. I head back to Kalin and she talks about Logan. Apparently he almost was killed by the crawler too, and was nursed back to health by Kaelin, same as I. Apparently he made a promise to come back with an army to defeat the crawler and protect Aurora, but it never happened.
King Logan did not cause this, but he did nothing to stop it. Now I ask that you do what he would not.
So I make a promise to Kaelin that I will provide protection for her when the time
Then
comes.
let us go
In return,
to
she
war.
offers navy support for the revolution. I head back to the road to Rule and open the last gate before the castle. When Malta comes to, we gather the men and head back to Albion, ready to start the revolution. When we arrive, all previous characters I've helped in the past are present, planning the attack. This is where the revolution begins.
You sure you're up to this, Walter?
Oh, don't worry about me. I may feel old and tired, but the day hasn't come yet when I can't charge into a good old-fashioned fight. Let the battle for Albion begin!
Is this not the grandest time you've ever had? Sabine, you almost blew us up. You saw a glorious beacon of freedom burning in the night for all the... What is it, Boulder? Oh, bloody hell. Move!
Shall we not? No. Let's surprise him.
So, this is how it ends. The old fool and the child who ran away. You finally become the man I always wanted you to be.
He's a lot more than that, and now he's ready to take your place.
Perhaps the time has come for someone else to lead Albion.
You were never a leader, just another tyrant.
Did it ever occur to you that I may have had good reason to be?
We're not interested in your reasons.
Cower behind ignorance if you will, but my brother deserves to know the truth.
Save it for the trial, Logan. You can beg for your life then.
The revolution overall was fun, but way too short, especially as it's been built up all this time throughout the game, from main quests, side quests, and the road to Rule. I was hoping for more things to blow up.
All hail, the King of Albion!
Once I am coronated, I am introduced to Cedric, who is my day planner and also in charge of the kingdom treasury accounts. The first thing on my list is Logan's trial.
You stand accused today of crimes against the kingdom and its people. Those who brought you to justice will now speak.
There's not a soul alive in the kingdom who hasn't suffered for his glory, and plenty who've died for it. I says, let him have some death of his own.
Look, I'm not one for lopping people's heads off, but we saw Major Swift executed like it was a bloody circus act. He deserves nothing less as far as I'm concerned.
But aren't we better than that? Isn't that why we fought to be here now? I've seen what Logan has done to this city. People starving to death, children forced to work. But killing him now won't solve anything.
It is not my place to decide his fate, but his betrayal condemned many of my people to death. He promised us salvation, and then left us to face the darkness alone.
I had good reason to break that promise, and I had good reason for the crimes you claim I committed. The day I returned to Albion, I received a visit from a blind seer. Teresa, our father's guide. She showed me the future of this kingdom. The darkness in Aurora is coming here, bringing death, destruction, the end of our way of life. The sacrifices I had to make, I did them to protect Albion. If a few had to suffer, it was to build an army. If a few had to die, it was to save a country. I have spent years preparing for this attack. Let me stand by your side now, and all my soldiers will be yours to command.
Everyone wants Logan dead. Some say spare him, however. To be fair, if I spare him, I'll have more men in my army. Which is kind of strange, I don't have them already. I'm the king. Speaking of which, why is he dressed as the king still?
You're a phony! This is not the time for revenge. We need your help, Logan.
The king has made his decision. Logan's life will be spared.
I know you will never forgive me for the things I've done. You told me so once, remember?
Of course I do.
But what matters now is that we defend our land. The castle is yours, and so is the throne. I'm glad to be rid of them.
Anyway, I meet with Teresa and she shows me the truth of what the Crawler plans to do.
Darkness is coming to our land. It cannot be reasoned with, it cannot be halted. The ruler of Albion is all that stands between the world we inhabit and that darkness. That is why you had to take your brother's place. The course of history demands it. If you do not succeed, everything we know will come to an end.
I have 1 year to prepare Albion. She explains I have two options. Keep all the promises I've made, but if I don't have the funds to support them and build an army, Albion will fall. Or I can break the promises and gain the money quicker to use for an army to defend Albion. This will cause me to be hated just like Logan was. This is my favourite part of the game, making decisions that changes Albion. Such an awesome design. This has so much replayability. First decision for Albion as king, I decide to lower the tax, but this leaves the kingdom treasury potless. No matter, I will fill it with my own money. I need at least 6.5 million. Next choice, I am to meet Reva and Paige in Bowerstone Industrial. I'll be keeping all of my promises in these choices, and mainly the good options. There are some, however, I will say no to.
Remember that the only way Bowerstone is going to climb out of the gutter is through education. Nothing is more important to our future than that. Turn this factory into a school. Give the children of this city the chance they never had.
The factory will become a school.
Thank you. We can really start changing people's lives now. This will be an Albion worth fighting for.
Quick note here, I'm only going to be showing the decision sequence and the final battle throughout the rest of this video. There are some quests you can do at this point to get more money, but as I've got plenty of gold in the treasury and have shown plenty of quests already in this video, I'm going to leave them out. But before we go any further, I'm going to marry Elise. In this Fable, you can choose what house to live in with your spouse, like before, but this time you can choose where you want to get married. Alright, enough of that. Let's make some decisions.
Of the battle for Albion. Paige will offer her proposal. Reva shall stand against her.
We destroyed the old quarter. It's only right we rebuild it.
The king has reached his decision. The old quarter shall be rebuilt, and its former residents will have their homes returned.
Thank you, Your Majesty.
Come to decide the annual... The people will be delighted, Your Majesty.
I am Herman Worthy, and I have a design in mind that will blow your little royal socks off.
I wish this to be an enlightened castle.
Oh, fabulous, Your Majesty!
I am here to seek the protection you promised.
I will keep my promise. Aurora will become part of Albion, and its people will be our equals in every way.
The king has spoken. Aurora shall be rebuilt as part of Albion, and equal to every other part of the kingdom.
Thank you, Majesty. You have proven to be a man of honor. Aurora is proud to stand at your side.
With that in mind, I would like to discuss the thorny issue of child benefits, which were abolished under your brother's rule. Very well, Your Majesty.
Your Majesty, the shelter has long been the only refuge for the homeless, the poor, and the orphaned.
The poor of this city have suffered enough. We will renovate the shelter and orphanage.
The Bowerstone shelter shall be refurbished at the Crown's expense.
Thank you, Your Majesty. You've done the right thing.
Today, you will deal with a pressing environmental issue. The disposal of the city's waste.
But when we used to
Morningwood
sneak
is
up
to
to
be
your
left
room in the
unspoiled.
castle. Fancy
We will find
reliving
other
those
ways to deal with
memories.
Bowerstone.
The king has spoken. Morningwood shall not be used as a waste site. Samuel will speak for the town and its scholars. Riva will dispute his cause.
The Brightwall Academy will be open to all who wish to learn.
Oh, thank you, Your Majesty. This is the start of a new day for us all.
The court summons Page and Riva. The matter before you today is the future of Bower Lake.
We must protect our natural resources. Bower Lake is to be left untouched.
The king has ruled. Bower Lake's natural beauty is hereby protected by order of the Crown.
Thank you.
As for today's first order of business, you may have heard about the dire situation the kingdom's economy finds itself in. Very well, I will make the arrangements. Life will be easier for your subjects for a while, but the treasury will not easily recover.
Are you sure?
Today you must decide how much protection to grant Aurora.
Aurora is under our protection. It is our duty to build this outpost.
The king's decision is final. A military outpost shall be erected in the deserts that surround Aurora.
I come here seeking nothing but what was promised me and my people.
I will keep my promise to the dwellers. The Mistpeak Mountains will be restored.
You are true to your word and your honor. The dwellers will stand by you till the end.
I have made all the decisions by keeping my promises and supplying the treasury with enough gold to save everyone. This is how you get post-end game with all NPCs alive and no random dead bodies on the street. I am visited by Teresa, who tells me of my accomplishments.
Not only have you raised an army to protect your people, but you have accomplished this while acting as a noble, benevolent, and popular ruler. But you are more than a king. You are a hero. You are Albion's champion, its protector. This coming battle is the reason you had to take Logan's place. Only you can defeat the creature that dwells in the shadows.
Then I begin the final mission to kill the crawler and end the darkness.
We have to get out on the streets, now!
Today we fight for Albion!
For Albion!
I fight my way through dozens and dozens of enemies while the crawler taunts me constantly.
Watch us fly into your heart.
Then visions start to appear.
You have done such hurtful things. The people you know shall rejoice in your death.
I continue to fight my way through from shadows to sentinels, leading to the final battle, where I'm bound to fight the crawler in his original form. Or so I thought.
Where are you? Show yourself!
The lost sheep returns to the flock. No one ever leaves the darkness behind.
Do you see? Do you see what you have allowed? We are all shadows now.
So I have to fight Walter. Man, this is heartbreaking. It's also horrible to watch that thing go inside him. So I eventually kill the crawler once and for all, but I unfortunately kill Walter in the same process.
I'm sorry. Oh, you took away the darkness. It's been inside me all this time. But it's light now. I can see the sky. And it's light. I don't think I can fight anymore.
It's all over, Walter. We won. We beat it together.
Do you remember the stories I tell you when you were a child? There was a great king once. The mightiest hero of them all. Remember what you would say?
Teach me to be a hero.
You've done me proud, boy. You've always done me proud.
Oh, Walter.
A monument is made for Walter in the castle gardens with all of his friends and allies around paying their respects. Amongst all the fighting, Albion was saved and almost everyone in it. The game then does a neat little conclusion of the player's choices and outcomes. In this case, I had enough gold to save everyone and keep my promises, so this is my outcome for my choices.
We are proud to be part of Albion. I shall return to Aurora in the knowledge that we may at last enjoy peace. Farewell, Your Majesty.
Walter was right about you. You're a hero in every sense of the word. The hero Albion needed.
You have done what I thought impossible. You are the ruler I could never be. But you don't need me anymore. And Albion will heal easier without me.
You saved the kingdom. And it's my turn to say goodbye. I'm not cut out to be a general. And I think I'd like to start travelling again. Or maybe see if Paige needs any help down in Industrial. But before I go, let's send off our friend in style, shall we? This one's for you, Walter.
That is the end of Fable 3, and the last ever decent Fable game. I enjoyed Fable 3 and always enjoy coming back to it. Always leaves me wanting more by the end of it. You can take that as a bad or a good thing. Few things I did enjoy was the co-op. This Fable had the best co-op. Instead of sharing a screen, in an online co-op session, both players can venture wherever they want in their own screens, as long as they're in the same region. I remember me and my buddy dressed up as a dog and chicken and went on a huge massacre in the castle. It just goes to show, with the new Fable announced, hopefully they can look back at Fable 3 and scratch out all the good ideas and mechanics and use it as a template to build on. Last but not least, demon doors. I like the demon doors in Fable 3. They're a neat little bunch. Some were open to only the King of Albion, and some were only open if you get fat and dress badly. And that's it for Fable 3. Would I recommend this game to anyone? Yeah, definitely. It is a great game. I think mainly the argument is it's not the best Fable game. Nevertheless, try it out and let me know what you think down in the comment section. It's my first video on this channel and I'm hoping if it does well, there'll be many more. But that's up to you. If you liked the video, feel free to hit that like button and subscribe to the channel. Also feel free to jot down what game I should work on next. Alright everyone, thanks for watching. This is The Gamer Life. Until the next time, take care.